Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm out here with the fam. We got some balloons and all that type of stuff. Say what's up, JoJo. JoJo, I'm here with my little son. Say hello. Take the pacifier to mom so you can speak to the people. Say Sean Allen. A little bit louder. Say Sean Allen, Sean. Yeah, that's right. I feel like cutting some hair. Let's get it. Ow!
Who did that? Sean Allen. A little bit louder. Sean Allen. What you say? Sean Allen.
Let's go. I'm ready for another barber tutorial. Now what you need to do first for this type of haircut is bald out. Now what I do is I like to bald out in the angle, especially for this cut, because I want to give him a more swag fade rather than just a military type fade, which is nothing wrong with a military fade. But I like to give a more swaggier fade for this particular haircut. So what I'm doing right now is I'm balding out, but I'm making sure that it's neat and organized because it helps in the end. And I'm making sure that I cut all the hair out because that's very important. Now pretty much I'm doing the same thing on the other side, so I'm going to fast forward it. Pretty much bald out in the angle, make sure all the hair is completely gone on the sides. Angle it. Now what I'm doing is I'm using number 1 and I'm going about an inch. And the reason why I go about an inch because I really want space to really do the fade that I like. So what I do is just move all the hair out the way so I can see what I'm doing. Because the most important thing, when you can see what you're doing, of course you're going to make the fade look even better. Now what I'm doing is I'm using the no guard open and I'm organizing my fade. So I'm going right under the number 1 with my 5-star seniors. No guard. And I see certain little dark spots, so I'm blending at the same time too as well. And I still see some spots. I see 3 spots right there. You see it? 1, 2, and 3. So I'm using my wide blade to take those out. The reason why I'm using my wide blade because it's a 1/16 guard and I felt like that was a perfect clipper to take that dark spot out. Now I'm back to my 5-star seniors with no guard and I'm just going right under the number 1 just like I did on the other side. I'm doing the same thing on this side. And as you can see, I'm blending, but I'm also just really organizing my fade on every single step. I'm telling you, it really helps when you have organization with your haircuts. It will make your haircut look really good, really clean. And also what I'm doing, I'm blending, I'm organizing, but I'm flicking out because I don't want to have a harsh line. As you can see, all the steps I'm doing, I'm making sure that the line is not super harsh because later on it'll be really tough to get the line out. And that's something that you really don't want to do. A nugget, if you never put a line in, You never have to worry about taking a line out. Now using the wide blade, 1/16 guard on this side of the head again, and I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm seeing where the dark spots are, and I'm blending using my corners in a flick out motion, like I'm cutting in and out. Now for this step, I'm using the number 2 all the way around, all over the head, but I'm starting with the side just for organization purposes. Just being very neat. Demarcation line. So I'm just focusing on that before I go on the top. And the most important thing you need to do when you're dealing with straight hair is you need to follow the hair pattern. Because sometimes if you just cut all wild and all over the place, you're gonna see all type of lines in his head when you get finished with the haircut. I'm telling you, I have done it before and it doesn't look pretty, for real. So I'm just flowing with the hair pattern. That's what you're seeing. How his hair pattern grows, I'm just cutting in that same direction. And I'm being mindful that it's a little light in the back. So I'm being very careful. As you see, I'm cutting the top of the head, still going with the hair pattern. Can't emphasize that even further. It's so important just to flow wherever the hair pattern grows and go, you go. I'm still working with that second guideline. And what you need to understand is that I start with a number 2 first on the top, and on the sides I use a O guard. Just keep going down the stairs. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just focusing on that demarcation line, focusing on the dark spots. So I'm not going too high, I'm just focusing right there. Like I said, don't be afraid to cut. Just cut. Now what I'm using next is my Masters 1.5, because that's right under an O guard. As you can see, I use a number 2, and right under a number 2 is a O guard, and right under the O guard is a 1.5 guard, which is the Masters that I'm using. And you pretty much can use any clippers you want. I just have a specific reason why I use the Masters for this, because it cuts the hair very well. It gives it a good blend. Masters give good blends. That's why I'm using it for this area, which is a 1.5. Just like I say, all my cuts are very organized. So like I said, I'm focusing in on all the dark spots. So every dark spot I see, I step back and I look at it. And I say, okay, I gotta take it out. Like that spot right there. You see me cutting it? I'm just working it. I said, okay, I gotta get that spot lighter because they have to blend. And at the same time, I'm being mindful because he have a little light spot above that. As you can see, it's very light. So you have to just blend around. Don't cut it too much because it's gonna look like a bald spot. It's a certain technique you have to go with straight hair. And I'm still focusing on that second guideline. When you're doing a fade, you have to be patient. That's if you want the fade right. Now I'm back to my number 1. Like I said, I just went right under my 1.5. And I'm looking back. All right, I see that dark spot still. Now it's time for me to just focus on all of that. I'm using my wrist. Use your wrist. Still working on that dark spot. I'm like, I gotta get it out, gotta get it out. And after this number 1, I'm back to my wide blade, which once again is equivalent to a 1/16 guard. So like I said, 2 on top, then I use my O guard, then I use my 1.5, then I use my number 1. Now I'm with my wide blade, which is a 1/16 guard, and I'm just touching up. I'm just putting together the last pieces of the fade. Uh-oh, I see that little spot on top, the hair sticking up. And you have to make sure that you just look at all the haircut all around. Just go around the head, just look at it, make sure everything's right. So that's exactly what I did. I took my wide blade and I pulled the lever all the way up, and I'm just focusing on that spot right there where the hair is sticking out a lot. So now I feel better. Now it's lineup time. Now how I do it, I start in the center, and then I just work around. And as you can see, he has a permanent scar. He had gotten into an accident. So me as a barber, it's my job to disguise that scar so it can look like a really good haircut. And I'm going to show you that in just a little bit, how to disguise scars and heads. Now it's time for the C effect. And what I'm doing, I see little spots, so I'm like, let me blend it right quick while I'm here. And what you need to do is you need to use your corners. And it's very important when you're doing a lineup is pull the skin back when you're cutting hair. It gives a way better lineup. Now what I'm doing is I'm working on this side, and of course I'm fast forwarding it because it's pretty much the same technique. That's the other barber, Max the Barber. Now what I'm doing is I'm using my Andes T outliners to touch up everything that I already have done, because Andes T outliners are super sharp. So I use those to touch up. Now I'm giving him a part, and like I said earlier, I'm disguising the scar that he has on the front of his head. So when I get finished, it looks like he has a regular part. And there you go. Number 2 ball fade on the side with a part. I appreciate all of you for watching. If you have any questions about this haircut, leave it in the comment section, and make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe. This is Sean Allen, and I'm out. Peace.